Bringing superheroines to the big screen seems to be an impossible task for Hollywood. Sometimes the public simply refuses to trust them. Think about the lack of interest in a fun, original film like Birds of Prey. Or worse, the sheer hatred directed at Brie Larson when she brought Captain Marvel to life. But other times, the fault lies entirely with the creators. Directors and screenwriters often seem clueless about what to do with powerful female characters. This is exactly what happened with James Gunn's DC universe and the release of Supergirl. While Gunn's previous work on her cousin, Superman, brought fans to a state of pure ecstasy, Supergirl stumbles into anonymity. The reason for this failure is incredibly simple. The core issue is wasted potential. James Gunn's previous projects succeeded because they had a strong narrative foundation, a theme that supported the emotional core of the film. That level of care is completely missing here, leaving Supergirl feeling entirely anonymous. The primary culprit is screenwriter Anna Nogueira. The writing here is so scarce, so thin, that it makes you wonder if there was heavy studio interference. Did DC executives put their hands all over this project? Sometimes studio intervention is justified, but with Supergirl, the studio did the bare minimum. They failed to ensure the script had the same depth that made Superman a triumph. This level of superficiality is shocking, especially when dealing with a character as rich as Kara Zor-El. What makes this frustrating is that the source material was incredible. Kara Zor-El is a fascinating character. Unlike her cousin Clark, she survived the destruction of Krypton as a teenager, arriving on Earth at an older age. She was an adolescent on the threshold of adulthood, forced to adapt to a completely alien world. She had to learn a new language, study foreign customs, and live among a people she felt entirely disconnected from. This is a recipe for deep psychological trauma, even leading to a troubled period involving alcohol abuse. But in the film, her loneliness is just a theory. The sequences dedicated to her internal world are far too few. Instead of exploring her psyche, the audience is forced to just watch her addiction and her feeling out of place without any real context. We see her looking for a home and looking for friends, but we never truly feel it. Everything compelling about Supergirl is trapped just below the surface. You have to wonder, why didn't they dig deeper? Why didn't they create a more introspective story about this young woman's emotional discomfort? Just because her trauma is an established fact in the comics doesn't mean it didn't deserve a proper on-screen analysis. Instead, the filmmakers build a generic story around identity and revenge, treated with the same laziness as everything else. For example, when Kara tells her counterpart, Ruthie, played by Eve Ridley, not to give in to anger, the moment falls completely flat. It lacks depth. It lacks a real lesson, it's just an obvious, hollow trope. Then there is the direction, or rather, the total lack of direction. Having a filmmaker like Craig Gillespie behind the camera and not feeling his presence is an insult to cinema. Gillespie is an energetic, dynamic Australian director. He proved his brilliance with sharp, vibrant female-led films like I, Tanya, and Cruella. Yet in this blockbuster, his personality is completely erased. There is no wit, no style, and no energy. Whether he is trying to support his lead actress or direct the fight scenes, Gillespie feels totally absent. This leaves Kara Zor-El completely isolated, abandoned not just by the script but by her own director. This failure is incredibly disappointing, especially when you look at the commitment of Milly Alcock. Unlike Jason Momoa, who plays Lobo with the exact same tired persona he uses in every film,
Oh, miss wherever you are, buddy.
In fact, she was more incisive and
Crypto and
memorable
I
in
at
a
least
brief
have each other.
presentation fragment in Superman than she is
Honestly,
in her entire
I thought we were lucky.
Milly Alcock deserved a script and a visual apparatus that could support her talent. Instead, we are left with a bitter taste. Supergirl will return in the upcoming Man of Tomorrow, but the tragic truth remains. Her first standalone film completely lost the chance to do justice to her character and to the legacy of superheroines in cinema.